Think aging happens slowly, gradually, year by year, decade by decade, a gentle slope you can see coming from a distance. But that's not how it works, not really. Because right now, at this very moment, parts of your body are aging at completely different speeds. Your heart might be 35 while your lungs are 50. Your brain could be younger than your liver. And some of your cells are dying and being replaced so quickly that you reading this sentence is physically not the same you who started it. The truth is, you're aging faster than you think, in ways you'd never expect, and the reasons why reveal something deeply strange about what it means to be alive at all. Let's start with something most people never consider. Your body is not one age, it's dozens of ages all at once. In 2009, researchers at the Karolinska Institute in Sweden made a discovery that changed how we understand human biology. They wanted to know how old our cells actually are, not how long we've been alive, but how long the individual cells inside us have existed. Using a clever technique involving radioactive carbon from Cold War nuclear tests, they were able to carbon date human tissue. What they found was startling. The average age of cells in an adult human body is between 7 and 10 years old. But that average hides an enormous range. The cells lining your stomach replace themselves every few days. Your taste buds turn over every 10 days. Your skin cells last 2 to 4 weeks. Red blood cells survive for about 4 months. Your liver cells live roughly a year before being replaced. But the neurons in your cerebral cortex, the part of your brain responsible for thought and memory, those last your entire life. They were born when you were born and they'll die when you die. So when you say you're 30 or 40 or 60 years old, what you really mean is that your brain is that old. Most of the rest of you is far younger. You are not a single organism aging uniformly. You're a colony of cells, each on its own timeline, constantly dying and being rebuilt, like a city where some buildings last for centuries while others are torn down and replaced every week. But here's where it gets stranger. Even among cells that do regenerate, the quality of that regeneration declines over time. And the rate at which it declines is not the same across your body. This is called differential aging, and it's why two people born on the same day can look and feel decades apart. Your biological age, the actual wear and tear on your cells, can be wildly different from your chronological age. Scientists have developed tests that measure this. They look at something called DNA methylation, chemical markers that accumulate on your genes as you age. These markers are like rust on metal, and they build up at different rates depending on your lifestyle, environment, and genetics. In 2018, researchers at Yale developed an aging clock based on these markers. What they found was shocking. Some 60-year-olds had the biological markers of 40-year-olds. Others looked closer to 80. The difference wasn't just cosmetic. It predicted mortality. The people whose cells were aging faster were dying sooner, even if they felt fine. Your body knows how old it really is, even if you don't. And it's not just about cells. It's about systems. Your cardiovascular system might be under incredible stress from years of poor diet or sedentary behavior, aging it prematurely, while your musculoskeletal system remains relatively young because you've stayed active. Or the reverse. A lifetime runner might have knees that are decades older than their heart. Each organ system ages on its own curve, influenced by genetics, behavior, and sheer chance. This is why aging doesn't feel linear. You don't wake up one day and suddenly feel old. Instead, things break down one at a time. Your back goes first, then your knees, then your vision, then your hearing. You are not aging. You are aging in pieces. But there's something even more unsettling happening beneath the surface. Your cells have a built-in countdown timer. At the end of every chromosome, there's a protective cap called a telomere. Think of it like the plastic tip on a shoelace. Every time a cell divides, that telomere gets a little shorter. After enough divisions, the telomere is gone and the cell can no longer divide. It either dies or becomes senescent, kind of zombie cell that stops functioning properly but refuses to die. These senescent cells accumulate as you age, and they're toxic. They secrete inflammatory chemicals that damage surrounding tissue, accelerate aging, and increase the risk of cancer, heart disease, and neurodegeneration. In 2011, researchers at the Mayo Clinic ran an experiment on mice. They genetically engineered the mice to allow them to selectively destroy senescent cells. The results were stunning. The mice lived longer, they stayed healthier, their organs functioned better. Simply removing the aging cells slowed aging itself. The experiment suggested something radical. Aging isn't just the passage of time, it's the accumulation of damage, and that damage can, in theory, be cleared. Now here's the part that should terrify you. Some behaviors age you shockingly fast. Chronic stress, for instance, doesn't just feel bad, it physically shortens your telomeres. A study published in 2004 compared mothers caring for chronically ill children with mothers of healthy children. The high-stress mothers had telomeres that were significantly shorter, equivalent to a decade of additional aging. Their cells were older because their lives were harder. Sleep deprivation does the same thing. Just 1 week of sleeping fewer than 6 hours a night alters the expression of over 700 genes, many of them related to inflammation and stress response. Your body starts to break down faster, and it's cumulative. You can't catch up on lost sleep the way you'd pay back a debt. The damage is done. Smoking, excessive alcohol, poor diet, loneliness, these aren't just risk factors. They're accelerants. They take years off your life by adding years to your cells. But the strangest part of all might be this. The rate at which you age is not fixed. It can change. Studies on caloric restriction, where animals are fed significantly fewer calories without malnutrition, have shown that it extends lifespan in nearly every species tested. Mice, rats, worms, flies, even primates. The mechanism isn't fully understood, but it appears that mild chronic stress from reduced food intake triggers cellular repair processes that slow aging. Your body, when it senses scarcity, shifts from growth mode to maintenance mode. It stops building and starts preserving, and you age slower. So here's the truth. You are not aging at the speed you think. You're aging faster in some places, slower in others, and the rate is constantly shifting based on forces you barely control. The you that exists today is already not the you of a year ago. Most of your body has been replaced, and the you of 10 years from now will be made of almost entirely different cells, which raises a question nobody likes to ask. If your body is constantly dying and rebuilding itself and doing so at different speeds in different places, then what part of you is actually you, and how much time do you really have left?